Joining us now is Lauren Fix, automotive expert with Car Coach Reports, and we'll be digging into President Trump's package of resolutions to block California's rule that would have phased out gasoline-only cars by 2035. Lauren, welcome. To begin with,
Thank you.
how will this move impact automakers in the short and long term?
This is actually fantastic news for Americans. You get to choose the vehicle that you want, whether it's gasoline, hybrid, plug-in hybrid, electric, or diesel. The choices will be yours. What had happened is when one state makes the laws for the other states, which in this case is California, that is unconstitutional. And how it got through originally was through the Clean Air Act, and then it got more power. The California Air Resources Board gained more power under the Obama administration. They allowed it to make the rules and regulations for the auto industry, and then the Biden administration gave them even more power, allowing them to call the corporate average fuel economy, what vehicles you drive, and any mandates. And that's not acceptable. The federal government's supposed to make those regulations through the Department of Transportation and the EPA and through the Energy Department. And as you can see, all three of those secretaries were on board. Chris Wright, Sean Duffy, Lee Zeldin were all very instrumental in removing this mandate so that you as a consumer can pick what you want. Manufacturers are thrilled because they all took a loss on every single electric vehicle they make. The only one who was an exception was Tesla, and he's already owned 66% of the electric vehicle market share, so he didn't really need the incentive. And manufacturers said the incentive still wasn't offsetting it, and what they were doing to make up the difference is they were raising the price of gasoline and hybrid powered cars to offset the loss they were taking on each vehicle, and in some cases as much as $40,000 per vehicle, and that's a lot.
Wow, there's a lot to unpack here. But in a recent interview, you actually said that the auto industry is making a kind of shocking U-turn on electric vehicles. What are you seeing and why?
Well, it depends on the brand. Some have woken up very quickly. I would say the one that woke up the quickest would be Hyundai Corporation, which under their umbrella is Genesis, their luxury line, Hyundai brand, and then Kia, which is a sister company. They're both half owned by the same corporation. They've already said initially they're going to put billions of dollars into a steel plant in New Orleans, which is jobs. They're also going to expand their West Point, Georgia plant for Kia, their Alabama plant for Hyundai and Genesis, and producing more products here, including a battery plant for those electric vehicles. And remember, gasoline-powered vehicles now and hybrids have so much technology that they need larger and more powerful batteries, and that's what you're seeing being produced here in the U.S. Very smart move. They literally announced their expansion the day after President Trump put the tariffs in place. So they were paying attention. BMW, their largest plant in the world, happens to be in South Carolina. Number one jobs are coming from that plant or to that plant are in South Carolina. They're going to start producing some of their drive lines here. And that's been the problem. It's not the assembly necessarily, it's the drive lines. Volvo is also in South Carolina. Where you're looking at the domestics, which include Tesla, Ford, and GM, because Stellantis is now owned by a European car company. Ford is starting to move some of their product here to the U.S., producing drive lines here. They were all producing drive lines for Ford and GM and Stellantis in Mexico. Well, they're afraid of the tariffs, so that would increase the costs, as well as Canada. So now they're going to start bringing that back. And so the Belvidere, Illinois plant for Stellantis is now going to produce a mid-sized truck and drive lines. Really great news for jobs, good news for the economy, and good news for anyone who's looking to buy a new vehicle because the parts are going to be built here. The steel plants with U.S. Steel, huge billions of dollars invested in Pennsylvania. So every state that was a swing state that voted for President Trump, they're receiving the benefit from brands that are waking up. Some are having more challenges. The Germans, you're not going to see Porsches built here. They're people that are buying them, they're going to pay the 10% extra. Ferrari, same thing. They're not going to move an Italian plant here to the U.S. We kind of know that. And if they raise their prices by 10%, I don't think that's going to impact their sales at all, much like Lamborghini and the other specialty cars. But the mainstream cars, they're going to start producing more product here. That's jobs. It's good for the economy. And having steel here, U.S. Steel, is also good for our economy.
Yeah, sweeping changes in the auto industry at the moment for a variety of reasons, but some of which you pointed to. But coming back to this latest move from Trump, you've mentioned that you believe it to be the California mandates to be unconstitutional. Of course, California Governor Gavin Newsom has announced that he plans to challenge the action in court. How do you expect this to play out ultimately?
I don't think he's got a chance. This is a Congressional Review Act. So, under the Congressional Review Act, once it's undone, it would take, there's no way that a future administration, this is what most people are saying, what happens in the future administration? Would a new, whether it be Democrat or just anyone who's pro EVs, decide to put this mandate back in place? There shouldn't be a mandate for any type of propulsion. You should be able to choose. And if something new comes up like hydrogen or even water, which we do know that water engines do work, those are the type of things that you're going to see the ability for consumers to choose what works best for them. And that's just one of the things I think that's so important, is that they can't undo this. It would take another congressional act in order to remove it, which would be over 60% of both houses. So I don't think that's possible. Gavin Newsom, he's going to try. He has to do that. That's what he does for the state. He's all about raising prices and costs and making it difficult for consumers. I think this is going to be a failed effort, but he has to make the effort in order to make the Democrats happy. But and people that are pro EV, which is on both sides. I think what's interesting to note is this was a bipartisan vote, both in the House and in the Senate, in order to get this Congressional Review Act brought to the president's desk. Once it's signed, it's almost impossible to undo. And this is good for all consumers, no matter where you stand politically, because the result is you get to pick what you want. You want an electric vehicle? You should be able to buy one. And if you want gas, you should be able to buy that or anything in between.
And noting there that although this is a California law, those rules are adopted by many other states across the country. So it is a nationwide move here. Thank you so much for all of your analysis. Lauren Fix, good to speak with you as always.
Thank you.
If you like this video, give it a like and subscribe for more videos like this, and check out our car review channel, Car Smarts. You can support me by buying me a cup of coffee. And if you want even more content, check out the links in the description. I'm Lauren Fix. Thank you so much for watching.